human beings have a mating season. You know how like cats can just be like crazy in your neighborhood? You're just meow, meow. And then you're hearing your auntie telling you, "Aki, them a pepo wamefika kwa estate."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, sis, they are mating, right? Dogs don't have a mating season because they are
It's
down.
24/7.
You know what I'm
They're
saying? These are
everywhere.
down.
24/7
Right?
all day, every day.
Never seen giraffes hook up, but I respect them so much. I would not see that.
Guys.
It's just above my pay grade, literally.
Guys,
You've seen.
guys, I have to share this
On
random
top of
fact
the
that I had
mountain.
no business knowing, but now that I know it, you have to know it because
Okay.
what?
Uh-huh.
What?
Eh.
So when a male giraffe wants to mate with a female giraffe,
What happens?
guys, I saw this. I don't know if it's true or not. The male giraffe will headbutt the female giraffe's uterus until pee comes out, and then he tastes it so that he can tell if she's ovulating or not. Look it up, guys. That's how giraffes mate.
That's why I'm asking you.
Unajua giraffe vile iko na nini, it has pussycats.
But speaking of animal kingdom, right?
I was like, I had no business knowing this, but now that I know it, you have to know it.
Speaking of animal kingdom, I mean, because just think of, you know, the way you say, like, anyway, God is wonderful. You know, like, how did you even think about, like, okay, so how are they going to make...
Headbutt.
They can't
the
just be like,
uterus.
they'll just get on top of each other. They're not cats. They're not cats. Relax. So what happens? The male approaches her, headbutts her uterus, pee squats out of her.
He tastes it.
Can you imagine?
And then
in fact, on that note,
the African massage
Can you imagine?
giraffe.
There's an angel out here giving out notes.
Michael,
and he was like,
Michael is just there like, tufanye kitu headbutini nini. So on that note, yeah, it would just tell me, guys, yeah, what is coming out siku hizi? Because look at the factory. Run the tape.
What's it?
Nini?
An alien
Floating.
coochie.
I know, right?
That's not a sex toy.
That's what I'm kwambie.
Inakaa nini? Pocket
Yeah?
something.
Honestly, and you know, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a pocket coochie. I've never seen one, but it just
like
looks
an
like it.
alien one, you know?
Yeah.
Because it looks like there's something in, like it's transparent but not. It's weird.
And then
So
it's
what
just
is it?
labia. Sorry. I'm telling you what I saw. That's a fish. It's an actual fish. Let me tell you the name. This fish, which is a newly discovered creature deep in the ocean.
Yeah.
Deep in the lightless zone. Unajua lightless zone ni wapi?
Uko ni wapi?
Huko unajua ukienda kwa ocean
It's down under.
pa inasema sasa
Enough.
kutoka hapa si escort.
That coochie fish is found down under.
Have some respect for the ocean vagina, which is not known
Which is
as
an alien.
ocean vagina. It's known as Chaetopterus pagarcopic. Si wanafaa
Alien
kuhire
coochie.
journalists
No,
kuwapatia majina kwa sababu
You
mimi
call it
kitu
coochie fish.
ningeita.
I'm gonna call it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that's it. Let's call it coochie fish.
Alien
Coochie fish, man.
because
I bet it
it's just
smells
an
like
alien.
fish.
Yeah, anyway, moving on swiftly.
What the what?
What did you just say?
Nah, moving on to what?
This show.
Okay, we'll just call it coochie. Alien
Coochie fish.
Coochie
Coochie
fish.
fish. Coochie fish is just overdrive.
Yeah, because how do you pronounce that?
I mean,
whole
if you have
word?
jellyfish, we have a seahorse, we have
you know what I mean?
starfish.
Yeah.
Why
No, I'm just saying,
Capcopterus?
coochie fish is just the most hectic smelling fish that has ever existed. Ati what? Tell us. Coochie fish is also like an insult.
Really? Oh, yeah. Oh, God. No, fish
Coochie. Yeah, fish coochie.
I don't know these people. Help me. So there's this reoccurring trend that keeps coming up every year. Last year,
Wait. Screw.
Yeah, but
Just back to, you know, I can't.
Why?
No,
You
You
I
are
can't.
trying to let it go.
I have a question,
Ask.
right? Because today we're talking about something on air, and it just got me thinking when we talked about coochie, fish coochie.
Yeah.
I thought you said that fish.
Yo, listen. Stay focused.
Okay.
If you met a babe, right, and then her coochie was smelling like fish, right? These things happen, Joyce.
It's
They
happened to me.
I've seen guys. If you're on
I don't
TikTok,
doubt that.
Kwanza in an office.
in
I
fact, if you're on
don't doubt
TikTok
that.
or Reddit, hey,
No, as in
you
relax,
even wonder what babes are
Steve-o.
doing with their
It's
lives.
okay.
Even Twitter.
You don't know where this is going.
Damn, where?
You are not on air.
Yeah, you guys keep quiet, I tell you. So, would you tell her? Would you, I mean, especially if you're like liking her, and you'll just say, every time you go in there, man, it's this thing, but
I'm about to die.
right? So, would you, ama, you'd end the relationship, ama, you'd vumilia?
I'd tell another babe to go on and tell her. A babe who's closer. You remember? You remember? You take it, if you're walking to a studio, right? So there's usually the outside door and the inside door, and then there's that
The kati-kati.
yeah, the kati place where it's supposed to like soundproof and whatnot. There's this one time, in when the office used to be at Galana, there's a babe who I think something was up, sijui ni PH ama ni nini, and then she wanted to have a conversation. Na hiyo conversation, I've stepped out of studio, and then she was like walking into studio and
So you were
tukapatana
in a
hapo
vacuum?
in that ka room.
Ay,
with
ay,
the
ay,
doors
ay,
are
ay,
like
ay,
this
ay, ay,
thick.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, you could.
Yeah, I could.
Oh, my God. That must have been.
And she was fully clothed.
Are you
So
sure?
I
Maybe,
went-
like, listen.
No, I know what it smells like.
Listen.
Alikuwa hajatoka fogo kula fish.
Ndio nilikuwa nauliza labda ame sneak out some sushi ameweka kwa mfuko akasahau. Like some tuna.
Something was up.
Damn.
So,
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
for sure.
obviously, I couldn't really tell her because she's a colleague.
Of
so
course.
I went on and told another babe.
Oh, okay. If it's
Yeah.
a colleague, no, if it's a colleague,
Yeah.
yes, that
I
makes
went
sense.
on and told
kama ni
another
mtu
babe
wako-
to like go and
No, chill
tell her.
fast. Chill fast.
Some-
No, if it's a
Something's up.
colleague, I'm going to send her
Going
as
to
a guy.
headbutt you, right?
For what?
Like you go, just listen. Okay, fine. So something is wrong with me. Instead of just telling me, you bring other people. You
No,
make it a
No,
spectacle.
but
No,
if
we
he
didn't-
can
we
smell
didn't-
it, someone else can
yeah.
smell it as well. And it's easier for a girl to have that conversation with a girl than a guy having that conversation with a girl.
And
if
me
it's
and
your
that babe-
girlfriend,
I
though,
feel like you should mind your
And me and
business.
that babe, we
And
didn't
your nose
have
is
we didn't
nosy.
have that. My nose is nosy.
Nose is nosy.
We didn't have that
All
kind
up
of
in my
relationship
beard,
where I could just go on and tell her like,
yeah.
Joyce, would you be
But-
comfortable that someone is coming to the office at there? You see Mungai?
I told someone who's close to
check
her.
Exactly.
Chip, chip,
you
chap, chap.
you tell someone who's close to
Mugai.
yeah, me, I agree with you, imagine.
Okay, but I know you're in high, like if it's not you, you're agreeing, right?
No, but it would have to
now
be a
I'm asking-
close friend.
So you listen first.
What if it was me?
So you listen to my question.
Okay.
If
Mungai,
it's you, I tell you.
so you keep quiet, I ask my question.
Okay.
Imagine if Mungai is the one, I've come to you, I've come to you and told you, hey, Mungai has told me.
No, you don't bring it up like that. You don't say Atikeri has told me. Even you how to
But then I
bring.
don't
You
know
just
how
tell
she
her
brought
like,
it
hey,
up.
How
I've
did she bring it?
noticed.
Did you tell her?
I don't know how she
Yeah,
brought it up.
but you don't mention the other person
How do
has
you
sent
know that?
you.
How do you know that?
No, you don't mention the other person has
How
sent
do
you
you know that's
because
what she
even me,
did?
I've ever had to have a conversation with someone whose odor was not that great.
Yeah.
How did
So
you
someone who was more comfortable with knew that me and this person had a more comfortable conversation. They're like, hey, do you want to have that conversation with them? So you just start off with those ones for like, hey, I don't know if you know, because it was like an odor thing. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you've noticed, maybe you're aware and it's an issue. So if it's an issue, I apologize. If it's a condition, I apologize. But I don't know if you've noticed, like, I don't know if if you've been coming from the gym and you have like you've not been using Dio or like whatever. So I always start by telling them, I don't know if you're aware or not, because maybe it's a condition, right?
I don't know
And
if you're
then-
aware or not your vagina is sticking up.
exactly. No, you don't assume. No, so you're asking me how to bring up that
Joyce.
conversation. Okay, how would you bring it
I
up?
would not. Listen.
Okay.
My
You vote
nose.
for real?
Let me tell you
So
something.
if it's me,
Hear me out, hear me
Sheila,
out.
if it's me
If
and
it's you, I'll tell
someone
you,
has
bitch.
got exactly,
Immediately,
but how
right?
do you bring up that conversation? You just be like, yo, Gucci stinks.
Could you hear me out? I'm saying, listen, these are two different
Because it
scenarios.
was on set and I
No,
had to work with that
Hear me
guy.
out. And I agree with you. Let's go back to Kerry's scenario. It's the one that's giving me kizungu mkutu. Because yours, I've been in, I work with a lot of interns and whatnot. I am constantly having this conversation at least 4 times a year, right? So But I've learned that, especially boys, right? So you have to like call them aside and be like, bro. Or even just the other day I had to bring someone deal, right? But that one is normal, right? Now, there are some regions of the body, right? Mtu akikwambia matako yako inanuka. You see what I'm
You
saying?
don't clean your
You see
ass.
what I'm saying?
But what does ass smell like? See, it smells like a fart.
No,
No.
Ass doesn't smell like a fart.
No.
How do you know how ass smells
Because
like?
I've told you numerous times, like, I remember Matatu Chronicles. My guy, first, I'm like 5'11", right? So, first, I'm seated in that hijab like this. My magotis. Right? And then on top of that, I'm already struggling. Somebody will say, Shukisha. Itabidi utoke na dirisha, by the way. And then I have to stand up for the person. Then they pass their nyash in front of my face. And I take a nice... Joyce,
Yo.
now Najwa, I have a very strong sense of smell. I've told you guys, the guy who nyambered the previous, I told you. So you can imagine, say you've knew, and then the next person is telling you, nashukia uko mbele. By the way, mi nashuka hapa sahi. I'll walk to Tao. How many asses can you smell before you say enough?
Oh God.
Nimechoka. Ingine inanuka jasho. It's just, you think people are walking out here in Tao, your ass is not sweaty?
Oh God.
Ass sweats, bro.
Yeah, see, I
And
told
people
you.
don't even wash like in between the crack
Yeah.
there.
See, I told you the story
You know,
of this
so-
boy of mine who can't do doggy style anymore because of like
He was
he's traumatized.
traumatized.
Yeah. When he
It's
did
okay.
it with one leg.
Wow.
And
Leave
yeah.
some things
It's
to
okay,
the
it's okay,
imagination.
we get it.
Imagine.
We get it.
Wow. So anyway, kazi kwenu.
Hey.
Ladies, when we're doing spring cleaning on Saturdays, let's also spring clean the body. For gents, please feel free to let
Wash
them
your
know.
ass,
Wash your
bro.
ass, bro. Wash your ass.
Guys.
Wash your ass.
Oh
Kabisa.
God.
No, but for real though. Hey, matatu.
I
Mi
was
naonanga
sad,
watu.
actually.
Close
I'm even
quarters.
scared. Yo, can
Even in church, mtu anasimama hivi paka unasema aki God says shower. God loves cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to go. Wewe kwanza uko
You
karibu
know
na
there's guys
shetani
who
sasa.
don't wash there because they say it's gay.
To
For
to
real.
wash your ass.
I swear. I've had conversations with people
what's wrong
telling
with
them
guys?
that it is not. They're like,
Someone
so ati
boldly
una nini? I'm like,
says-
yeah.
Are they stupid?
Ati you can't put soap.
We listen and we don't judge.
Me, I'm judging because
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah.
Unataka swipe
There's
haga
guys
yake.
who don't do that.
Unataka jiswipe.
Speaking of judging,
Ati apake soap ikuwe slippery.
You don't drop the soap between your dash.
speaking of judging, listening and not judging, there's a trend that has reoccurred recently that has reminded me of a trend that was happening last year. And basically, you've seen this trend for the bar was so low, and then women say like some of the most unhinged things their exes ever did and they stayed. And then last year it was my ex did ABCD and I stayed.
Yeah.
I want you guys to think of like the craziest thing someone can do in a relationship and they stay, a story you've had or even like a personal one before I get to mine, because I promise you this story wins.
All right. Before we do yours, ours, you do yours on the socials. And at this
Yeah.
point, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Follow, like, share, leave a comment.
Watch the next ad.
Yeah. to the
Yote.
fullest.
To
We're
the
waiting. In fact,
fullest.
watch this ad. We're waiting
Since
for
hakuna
you.
till number, hiyo ndo till.
Wait, okay. You start.
All right. My story is I've got a friend of mine where she supported the boyfriend. So her boyfriend used to Relax.
Wait, we listen and we don't judge.
do. Relax.
I told guys, babes, what did they tell you? Don't give guys
Don't give
money.
the money. Uh-huh.
Oh, you already know it's gonna end up badly.
Yeah.
But we want to hear. Plot twist.
So now, when they met, the boyfriend used to have biashara, like online business selling kicks. He's got a shop on Instagram. So now, right now, his business is not really performing well, or his business wasn't really performing well. So she decided to become a silent investor and be like, you know what, I'm gonna give you cash so that you can go on and buy stock. Imagine, to a point, she's even told me, at you support my man's business. He sells shoes and whatnot. What's your shoe size? Yeah, like that. So she gave this guy cash, you know, to go and like restock. see how was the guy in Naivasha for rally,
Because
and
why
he
are you
said
lying?
he didn't have money.
Because
and-
why would
And after going to Naivasha, bashing and everything, she was so pissed off about it. She's still there sending messages telling us to support the business, go on and buy, so that he can still make some money. I don't know whether she wants to make her money back, but she literally forgave this guy for giving him cash to go like an investment, and then he went on and partied with it.
Listen, I'm guessing it's the close there, silent party. She wasn't
just stay
supposed to
silent?
talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, my story. Let's go to China, right?
Oh God.
And have you ever seen a street in China the way they're busy?
Yeah.
Like one road, they guys say Nairobi is busy. My guy, China has 1 billion people.
Yeah,
Right?
facts.
So a
You don't know
road
what
can have
busy
like
is.
1 million people just walking, crossing on one nini.
Yeah.
So anyway, this babe Ling Ling, let's call her Ling Ling. It's not her real name, but that's what we're calling her. So Ling Ling,
I'm so
she was crossing the road, and then guess what? She was gongwad by a moti.
She didn't have a ting-a-ling-ling sense.
You be easy. First, we'll get to the ting-a-ling. So Ling Ling is knocked by a moti. She's pelekwadosi. She's in really critical condition, right? Anyway, fast forward 2 years later, the guy who was driving the moti and Ling Ling, they're doing ting-a-ling-a-ling. They're married.
Okay, so
What?
So Ling Ling, the person who ran her over, right? The one who almost
Mr. Ling
killed
Ling.
her and ended her life,
Yeah.
right? They
almost
in the
ended her life
process
because
of
she'd be dead.
yeah, took her to hospital. Oh, see, now they've taken to hospital.
Yeah.
You know that process of when someone has knocked you have to
Yeah.
take care. At least you have to show up and
some
hey.
remorse. Nini.
Yeah. So in that process of remorse, they became close.
And gave her a wedding ring.
Yeah. You keep and he married her, man.
Yo.
So now the question is, just imagine that person who knocked you. Baka, you saw stars, you saw the sun, the heaven.
You saw the light. You had
You
to be
saw-
told, don't walk
don't-
into the light.
And then that person,
Hey.
exactly.
Come back.
Murudishane
Hey.
ati nini. I don't know. I saw that story. I was just
Guy.
like, me, I don't know, man. But like, people are forgiving. And
People are very
crazy.
forgiving.
Aki kabisa.
You know, at least it was
Alimkatia akimwambia ushaichotwa na gari.
At least it wasn't on purpose. That's all I'm going to say
Yeah,
about that
yeah.
one. At least it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
If it was on purpose,
Yeah.
like this young lady, I've even forgotten her name. Let's just call her
Stacy.
Stacy. Okay? So Stacy, a couple of months ago, this is in the States. Okay? I see her as Stacy in the States. A few months ago got shot in the head,
Hiya.
point blank, by her boyfriend. Okay? It took her about 7 months she was in critical condition, like those ones she was this close to applying for disability because she had to relearn how to walk and talk.
Shit.
Right? There was even like a GoFundMe because she was like, they were a couple duo. Okay? And I just feel like I need to mention this. She's white, the boyfriend is black. I don't know why that is important information, but yeah.
Just a couple doing it.
Yeah. TikTok, whatever, couple, whatever.
yeah.
They were trending. So of course, when this story came out, their TikTok followers were like, "Oh my God, we are so sorry." Whatever. They were there with her throughout the journey. There was even like a GoFundMe
Damn.
for her to get better as she waits to apply to for disability if she needs to, because she said she might, because again, critical condition. So one random day, Stacy is on TikTok, and then do we call him Jonte? Jonte pops up, is like, "Hi," and her followers are, "Wait a damn minute, that
They're back
looks
together."
like yes, run
The
the
girl
tape.
who was shot in the head by her boyfriend and she had to learn to walk and talk all over again. Well, guess what? Zara's back with her boyfriend and she's saying nobody understands. This is Zara and Dino, and they became TikTok famous because of their relationship. 7 months ago, they were having an argument and Dino shot Zara in the head at point blank range. Dino was arrested and Zara was rushed to the hospital where she was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. The past 7 months, Zara has been in recovery, learning how to walk and talk all over again. She even mentioned that she might have to apply for disability. Everybody's been rooting for Zara and donating money to help her recovery. Then all of a sudden, this happened during one of her lives. Dino pops out.
Is that the
He's
guy who
waving
shot her?
at the camera,
Yeah.
just like we miss him too. Oh my gosh. Everybody was stunned. What is he doing there? But Zara defended him, saying we just don't know him like she does.
No one knows how sweet Dino is. I swear to God, no one knows.
And nobody wanted to
guessing
hear all
even
that.
she
People
didn't know.
started
Last
asking
I checked,
her if they
people
would
don't
shoot
shoot
back
you
from
in the
the
head.
GoFundMe
She
if
didn't
she
know.
wanted to
She
be with
didn't
her
know.
attackers. I guess this is a love we'll never understand. And I hope that kind of love never finds me. What do you think about Zara's?
Now they're back together. And people asking for their money back.
That's why you should never help people on the internet.
Don't.
I'm sorry. Okay?
Help with somebody else.
It's like you pata someone has been fanyiwad GoFundMe at is they're being chapwad or
Yeah.
something is happening. The next
Stay out
thing
of it.
you see the two of them together. But also, I mean, GBV can just end in a very crazy way, and that's one
One
case
of them.
study, and that seems like she's having a
Because in the head,
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
honestly.
A person shoots you and then you anyway. This
Because
other babe
in
was
the
run
head
over
is
and then they,
on purpose.
Yeah,
you know what
he
I
was
mean?
fully
You
die.
don't mistakenly shoot someone in the head.
Bro.
That's on purpose.
That's so crazy.
my guy.
But you
And
know
when
what I
you
was
shoot
thinking?
someone in the head, you want to kill them.
right?
No, but guys, you know what I was thinking, right? Like, think about it. You remember? Let's just screw back to that story for the giraffe that you told us, right? Now imagine if the giraffe, like giraffe talk, right? So this babe, she's like talking like, hey, now her friends have seen her giraffe man just headbutting her uterus, right? And then she's like, you don't know him. Like, this is the same
I
case.
know him.
This is the same case. She was gongwa, as in that's their love language.
At what point do you intervene? You know, most people say ati manene ya watu wawili wameonana uchi, or people who share a bed, you should not ingilia because you might end up looking like a fool. But now that one,
Honestly, the whole internet was involved in this, and even
that's
Hashi
crazy.
knew. Let me tell you, even Hashi knew. I think it was probably his idea to be like, yeah, let's let people know we're back together, baby.
yeah.
That's so wild.
And people who, like, if you're a lawyer, please tell us, like, who would press charges? Like, is it her? It's only her who can go and press charges for this guy attempting to kill her?
Yeah, she's an
or
adult.
someone else can go on and do it? Because, I
No.
mean, if you shoot someone in the head, what was your intention?
To kill her.
And then
to
you're still there
murder.
taking cash.
But guys, let me ask you, yeah? Okay, every time we're sitting on this podcast, sometimes you say, like the first thing that pops up in your head because now you're an adult,
Yeah.
right? But like, I just want to take you back to like when you are, because they seem young. They look like
they
they're
look
like
very
21,
young. Yeah.
right? Now, I want to ask you, just imagine you, right? You know yourself. Just imagine if you were 21 now, right? With the pressures of social media that they are now. Yes, we had social media, but nobody cares that you have a high five, right?
Right? Your age just, you said what?
High five.
Your
right?
age just showed right there.
So, as in, social media didn't have pressure like that.
Yeah, it
the one that
didn't.
it has now.
Yeah,
Facebook, my
yeah,
God, you finish partying the weekend.
Na
Like
nika
now,
status,
Basha. Sai, you now upload pictures 1,000, like a whole album from Anini, the card.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
that's what we used to do, right? But do you remember how did you ever have a toxic relationship?
I did.
Did you?
Actually, I've just remembered one.
And you were young, right?
very
When
young.
you were like that
Very
age.
young, yeah.
Wait. Have you ever been in a toxic relationship?
Oh, yeah.
A toxic one, right?
Oh, yes.
Were you young? Were you like
Oh, no. My
Was that
toxic
recent?
one. I was a grown-ass man.
okay? It's okay.
Come on.
People grow up slowly. So we take it easy. Hakuna haraka by the way maisha ni yako.
Yeah.
There's no rush to anywhere, si ndio?
Stop.
There's no
Oh
rush
my
to anywhere.
God.
So anyway, the reason I'm asking this, right? And we've set a preamble, and I know you're going to tell us your toxic story, right? Because even me, I've been,
I just remembered, yeah.
when you're that age,
No, oh no. You see that? Anyway, it's fine.
you're so toxic. You're like, I can't breathe without you. You said that we'll never be together. We'll never, it's just
I
like,
can't die right now. Kill me.
So now just imagine in those arguments, right? So you kill me. Like the way you argue. Oh my God. So now that was you before, even without pressures for social media. That was without social media pressures. B.
Yo.
BS. Before social media, right? So, haya. Hebu tuambie hiyo yenye ulikuwa unaniwe.
Wait, I've just remembered. No, this guy has never made me like open the car while he was driving. Just for fun.
That's it. Yeah.
I was scared as hell, but I did it.
Did you jump?
No, I just wanted
Him to stop the car.
I've been in. Okay.
No, he was like, no, open the door.
Hiya.
I'm like, what? You're turning at like a really high speed right now. It's like, open the door. I think he said something like, if you love me or whatever. It was very traumatizing, guys. He was driving. I'm not even joking. He was driving, I think, at like 100 kilometers per hour.
So let me.
So he was just like an adrenaline junkie, and he brought me along.
So let's do this, yeah? Do you agree that God did the right thing to make you a millennial?
Yes.
Because right
Yes.
now,
Yes.
you would
I
be a
would be
story time.
Stacey.
Would you be a story time?
1,000%.
All right.
100
Carry.
kilometers per hour, and you're making
I've
me
been
open
in a
the door.
backseat of a car while a couple is arguing, and this is BS.
Hey.
Yani, if it was right now time for social media, this is the one that you go on and record. For real. Like, you know, they were arguing. The car was on the road. We were
Man.
moving. This babe moved the gear from drive to park
Oh my God.
while the car is moving.
Oh no.
Like, moving. Not at the cruising.
yeah, like
The car was
unaenda.
moving. She moved the gear. You know, like,
That sudden is not safe.
The car was wrecked there and then.
Immediately.
And then it just felt like we drove into a wall.
Guy.
Because of the...
Yeah.
The
whiplash.
sudden,
Yeah, because the gear just stops.
That's not normal.
Because she was like, no, as in the argument, she's like, Atta, we need to stop this car. Yo.
Guy.
Okay, I know, guys, I just want to add this. So I know we say don't drink and drive, but I think maybe I should add don't drink, argue, or don't drink and drive. Don't argue and drive.
Don't argue and drive,
especially
my guy.
Yeah.
if you're a couple couples. I don't know whether drinking and driving is worse than arguing and driving. I think you don't argue. Just
same.
Yeah.
sit in that kind of silence. Come on, joke,
Because
nyamaza.
you're not of right mind either way. You know what I mean? You're not of
Don't
your
say
right
jokes in the
mind.
middle of
Why?
arguments.
No, as
Just
in-
stay quiet.
No, if you're not going to entertain your partner, just shut up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not in the vehicle. You can argue. Hey, but houses is where they even do worse things.
Yeah, because we have even heard
Couples.
of that one of like the babe kneeling the steering wheel. I'm like, my guy,
Yeah.
you could die.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's not safe. So anyway,
Yeah. Anyway,
Let me not be too judgmental
You see, we're here
because we've been
That's
there.
what I'm saying. So imagine ungekuwa.
and yours, I know
21.
yours, but
Yeah,
even yours
I also think I know yours.
exactly.
It's that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, ningededi. So all I'm
Yeah.
saying is,
Yo.
you know, others we can just keep like, see, lazima we tell everybody everything in this
Na
podcast.
ni mingi basi.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, guys, imagine you're here judging this girl at where is she going back to the person for the gun who has shot her.
You usually wake up some face when you're deflecting stuff, but it's okay. We'll accept it.
Your eyes are spoiled. so what I'm trying
But
to
I feel like
say,
she said that story before.
Yeah.
She has?
Refresh people's memory.
sharpen
Oh, okay.
Refresh people's
Oh,
memory.
all right.
like now we're always
We have
backtracking on
new
Storo.
members.
We have so
Yeah,
many.
we have new members.
Anyway,
Tell
moral
them.
of the story is if you've never been here to Boxpod, right? Yeah, I've been in a toxic relationship
Start from
before.
episode
Yeah.
1.
Right? Yeah. Actually, you'll find I've probably made a couple of references. Hapo. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we would almost died. But as God would have it, right? We are now happily apart
Yeah.
and
We thank
thriving.
God.
Yeah, we thank God. And we are amicable. We are amicable now.
Siko baya,
God.
but don't you feel like those arguments had more, like, you
Yeah,
know, the
fire.
adrenaline,
Fire.
like you feel like
Fire.
something. But right now, mature arguments, it's
They
just,
suck.
Yeah.
My
You're
guy,
so-
I was scared for my life. What do you mean? No.
No, but like, do you remember the passion?
Yeah, like how you
Can you imagine the sex after?
adrenaline.
Then that's all he needed to say, not the actual argument.
No.
Out.
That's what I'm saying. Like after you're like, wait.
Kuja hapa.
Anyway, us guys are virgins. Yeah. So
Hilarious.
anyway, moral of the story, guys, we're not at here advocating for toxic relationships, right?
Yeah.
Moral of the story, we made it out
Yeah.
safely, right? If you're in a toxic
I don't know how,
relationship,
but we did.
do something about it.
Fact.
Talker.
ASAP.
Yeah.
It's not
Do you
worth
think
it.
a toxic relationship can be healed?
No.
Like you guys are in that place where you are already like
While you're
sulfuric.
still together.
No, like do you think over time, right? Because like part of the reason why a relationship gets to that place where you guys are toxic is because a couple of things have happened where you guys are either taking each other for granted
Yeah, you're
or
not addressing issues.
and then
yeah.
eventually now you just start becoming like it's almost like vendetta, just things like just under the surface until now they start to show like boils, right? On the surface. So my question is, do you think it's possible to go through that and then heal and then now become like, hey, unakumbuka tulikuwa karibu tunanyongana. Hey, hallelujah. Hey.
I think you only heal when you're apart. Like you gotta go your own ways, and then everybody goes on their own healing journey.
Yeah.
And then probably maybe you meet after. And then
would you just remember your toxic person? Do you think it would have been wise for you to have a guys? I mean, now you're healed.
But healing together.
Healing together,
that is what ends up making the situation worse.
Is impossible. You know what? He did actually end up reaching out to me like maybe a year or two later to like apologize and whatever, and you know, being like I should have never been an asshole, whatever. I was like, I mean, it's too late, but I appreciate the apology.
That's nice.
Yeah. But like for me, as soon as I left that situation, and I usually get to like this moment, and I was trying to explain it to someone. I feel like when it comes to relationships, I usually have like a moment where it just clicks. Like I can leave that person's house and be like, I'm never going to see him again.
That's it.
And I'm done. Like, so that's what happened with that guy. I was like, I don't know what he did or what he said. He put me through some shit. And that was the last time I ever talked to him. I didn't answer his phone calls. I stopped hanging out where I know I would run into him. It's like he stopped existing. So yes, as much as I was hurting and all of that, I didn't go looking for him for closure. You should apologize for doing this. You should apologize for doing that. So when he actually found me, this was days on Facebook, and apologized, I was like, oh, that is actually so strange. I'd already like moved on with my life. Yeah.
But you know, apologizing is also part of closure for the person who committed the crime.
Yeah,
so you gotta, you just say, hey, I'm now in a point of soberness, and I'm like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But then also, I think as we segue, and there's something you mentioned about apology I want to talk about. But just on that point of being in a relationship that's super toxic and, getting past that point, the truth is, when you're in that space, it is hot, it is fire, it is passionate.
No one can tell you shit.
And that point that she's just said is the point of madness. You're not operating in a normal space.
Honestly.
Because in that space, when you guys are being toxic, even if you're asking for advice, because, like when toxic people ask me for advice, when someone is in a relationship and they're in that toxic space, they're like, can you imagine what Nani did? And they're always telling you what the other person did, not telling you what the parts they also played. And then you advise them, you're like, okay, you know what, you deserve better, hey, you guys need to wachana, da, da, da. Then 5 minutes later, you're seeing them posting happy anniversary on their
with long ass paragraphs.
Right?
Say, oh, you've been through so much. Yeah, you're definitely still going through it.
Yeah, you just kubali matokeo and say, the day they come out of it, hopefully they'll be sane. But and at that point, when they are going back together, anajifanya hata ni kama hakujui, anakublock.
Imagine. Now you are the problem.
You are the problem. But then once they get out of that relationship is when now, like you remember now when you got out of the toxicity, what's once you got to that place for where there's actually a rainbow and sunshine, not because when you're in that toxic place, it's thunderstorms and lightning.
Fact.
Every day, every
cloudy
moment.
skies,
But as long as you're with this person, but you're fighting with them, right?
Yeah.
Now you've made it to the place for sunshine, right? And you're looking back. What's the first thought you looked back like this and you're just like, what the?
You say, thank God. Like,
no,
what?
I was like, kwani nilikuwa nimerogwa?
Exactly.
No, for real.
Yeah.
I was like, kwani nilikuwa nimerogwa? Like, what? And then in my head, I'm like, the people who endure this for years, because mine was like a very few months. Me, one thing about me, I learned my lessons very quickly, okay? 6 months. And I was like, and the people who endure this for years, kwani nilikuwa nimerogwa? Did you put something in my food? And I was sober. I never used to drink back then. I was still a baby. I was young. So there was no excuse. There was no mihadaratis. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I did it fully with a sober mind. I was like, kwani nilikuwa nimerogwa?
You?
I'd be like, thank God. Like, I'm out of it. Like, you are now in a place where you could actually
see clearly.
See clearly. You can sleep through the night. You can. You're
enjoying life again.
You're just enjoying life again.
You're rediscovering yourself.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest.
It's true. You ask yourself, like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. And that's and it does take time. Before you get there, it does take time. But the moment you get there, you're just like, first, it's like you have new glasses and your glasses weren't working previously. And now you're just saying, hey, I can see colors
now,
right? And then on top of that, I think for me, one of the most significant things that I noticed after getting out of that toxic relationship was that I started rediscovering myself afresh. And I knew there were such pivotal moments. I was like, I never ever want to find myself in a relationship na tunafanya vitu kama hizi. So so I started the journey for healing, and I'm grateful.
Yeah, and then there are also certain things you realize you don't like. You only used to do them because your partner wanted to do them. You're like, I don't even like doing this particular activity, or I don't even like watching this kind of shows. I only did them because
I was accommodating
you. I was accommodating you. I was like, I don't like any of these things. It has nothing to do with my identity. That was them, like, imprinting on you. I was like, I don't like any of these things.
Now, speaking of apologies, the truth is, people are and there are people who can never apologize. You know me, I know a few people who can never. Like, I thought
I would never be able to, but
I'm sorry.
We're healing.
We're not in a our relationship is we're friends. Lakini hauwezi fungua mdomo yako useme yenyewe hapo by the way. Izajo. They'll just be like, oh. Then you're now, is there ... ama full stop?
What's
right?
up?
Is that an exclamation mark? Statement? Question? Anyway, so people like this, I can see something that can help them out. Now, you guys, do you think you're quick at apologizing?
Nowadays I am. But in the past, I struggled with bias. Those words never came out of my mouth.
Carrie?
I had a problem where I'd even say sorry for things I've not done.
That sounds like you, honestly.
Like,
I don't even know.
You know that's a disease.
It's gone now.
Yeah, that's a disease.
But I am very quick at apologizing.
What the hell is that? Is that like a pick-me syndrome?
No, not really.
What is that? You're apologizing for things you didn't do.
Yeah, not really. Like, you go on and say, I'm sorry.
For?
You know, something like, a baby
Don't say woye. Don't say woye. Listen.
A baby would be like, I'm cramping. And then I say, I'm sorry.
For what?
Exactly.
No, but I'm asking you a question. You're looking at it wrong. At woye. That's not woye. That is toxic.
Yeah.
You're
toxic
sorry
on
is
myself.
toxic. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I stopped.
No, not to yourself.
Like that
to the
kind
person.
Of behavior.
Listen.
Okay.
Niceness is not a
No,
nice.
Joyce, you
is
can
not a
feel
good
woye
thing.
for me.
It's okay.
Niceness is not a good thing. There are people who just like to bombard you with sorry and stuff, right? Now the meaning of the word sorry loses its essence.
Yeah.
Right? Because what are you apologizing for?
And there's people like
I always say, don't say sorry until there's a reason behind, like, what are you apologizing for?
Yeah.
So those people who are just like, oh, so sorry. That is a disease. It's a syndrome, and you're toxic. I hope you're not doing it anymore.
No, I'm not doing it no more.
Right? Yeah. But now let's imagine you cheated.
You do apologize.
Yeah.
Well and often.
I'm actually, like, for me, nikikukosea, nataka tu hiyo kitu ipite na to move on.
Yeah.
Is that how it's always been?
Yeah.
Even when you were in that toxic relationship.
Me it was hard.
Kwanza, now that in that toxic relationship, I spent a lot of time apologizing for stuff I hadn't done. Okay, I had done one stuff I had done.
One stuff that
I had done, and I just apologized for it for years.
Like,
and I was like,
nyinyi nyote mlikuwa vichwa ngumu, so I don't know.
Right? No. Kichwa ngumu doesn't mean, you can be stubborn, but it doesn't mean
that you don't know how to apologize.
For me, I've always been like somebody who apologizes, right? And my mom has always instilled that in, and also not just an apology that, like, don't just come at someone like, si sorry basi.
I
hate
that. See, I'm sorry.
I hate
but see, now I didn't grow up ever hearing I'm sorry. So of course it was difficult for me to ever say it. And that's something I had to, like, learn and correct for myself. I never had the word I'm sorry growing up. Ever. Whether I was the one on the wrong or if it was my parents who were on the wrong. And that's something I really, really struggled with. So with all these things that I'm learning about myself and unlearning all of these things, I had to learn that, yes, it's not my fault I didn't grow up hearing these things, but it's up to me to correct it. Yeah.
From that I've just picked up, probably, I don't know if it's childhood trauma, but my mom used to chapper me, and then after she'd apologize.
That's where you get
I'm sorry.
That's where you get that.
Like you'd be chapward. And then she'd go get you. I sit on her lap, and then she's like, "You see the things you make me do to you." I'm sorry.
There was no such thing in our household.
As in,
not us.
Emotionally, what that does to a kid
is now it's confusing.
Now it makes sense. Yeah.
It's confusing. Like, now you're just like she's
okay, I'm
she's
sorry.
separating the action from the actor.
Yeah.
Right? So she's saying, you see that thing I did? It's not me who's the bad one. It's the thing I did to you, and it's because you're the one who made me do it to you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the toxic, I'm telling you, because if you're but trust me, all parents were like that.
Yeah.
Like, mtu nakuchapa. Unaona sasa unanifanya na kushautia.
I love you.
Now I'm tuning you. know
Like,
they,
si kama ichuna
so
you
you just
me, even me, I
so
love
just
you, kama
protect
ichuna you.
keep your hands safe to
Kama
yourself so that
ikuchune, pia mimi
it
sina
doesn't,
kupenda.
they're making it sound like it's like a reaction,
You
know?
you know, like when
Like,
there's
you can't
dust
help
and
it,
you
like,
sneeze.
woo,
Anyway, so yeah, so I think the place where you use the word sorry, and truth be told, a lot of people are not good at apologizing. It's either you do it at the wrong time or the wrong way, right? And the truth is, there's the wrong way of apologizing.
Yeah.
If you come at somebody and you've not taken time to, even maybe at the wrong time,
Yeah.
when someone is not ready to receive the apology, it's not enough mnamtupia mimi nishaku apologize, sasa wewe fanya kenye utafanya ala. Si ati tutaka tu time yako tu. Kama usikii kunini basi ka. Sawa, sorry basi si sorry. Pastor Nganga.
Motherlands for if I offended you, I'm like, that's already a
Hata
wrong way to
sisemi
apologize.
kwa sorry, kwani mimi ndio internet. Did you see Pastor
Hata sisemi
Nganga?
sorry.
Sisemi sorry sasa. Kwani mimi I'm the internet.
What am I saying sorry for?
Anyway, if you struggle with saying sorry, let me tell you, Japan is so forward, guys.
My guy.
It's like us, we're in year 2025. Guys, I promise you,
They
you fika Tokyo 2100.
Yeah.
Okay, 35. Hey, umeenda mbele.
Wakombe yo.
Uko Tokyo.
We're
Wewe uko
finished,
Tokyo. Mimi
yeah.
niko Osaka. Sasa 2135. Right? These guys, you can hire someone to apologize on your behalf. Now, think about it. I know we've said we're easy with apologizing,
Yeah.
right?
No, in the past it would have helped.
But you know, the right words. Say you umefanya kitu mbaya. Let's say you have lost a client like 50 million.
Yeah.
Right? And it was something beyond your control.
Yeah.
Utamwambia sorry.
Sorry is not enough. Sorry is a sorry word.
EABL imekupatia budget.
Umechoma.
Umebana. Watu wameoccupy. Right? Security is milaki. Head of nini amekuja hapo Diageo.
Do you hapo?
Nasema on behalf of the company, si sorry.
Si sorry bas.
Aye. Ama those ones who are like, hey, nyewe, I can see where the problem is. Hey. Enyewe hapo hata mimi nimekubali. We were outside.
Yeah.
Tulikuwa nje sana. Wow. That's what we did. We did wrong.
Yeah.
Hiyo hapa hata mimi nimekubali.
Yeah.
Two, we were so useless. Okay. Right? Sasa nifanye nini? What am I supposed to do with that information?
Yeah.
You need a professional mwenye anakuja hapo. Actually, anatumia the right lingo. Anabembeleza huyu mtu paka anaingia box. You know, because sometimes, or let's imagine you've babe. She's on the internet, or let's blog Nairobi NGC.
Hi,
Kerry
NGC.
spotted there whispering into some babe's ear like this as if she's trying to kiss him. She's trying to kiss her.
Wow.
And then
Kero umeonewa, imagine.
and then
I swear.
she sees the post before you've met her, right? And truth be told, what
It
you're
looks
doing is
compromising.
messy. It looks messy. So you have to. You see? That's why you need a professional, because you're like, what?
No, but that's not.
No.
Nah, you can't use that as an example.
Professional anaingia hapo kana sema si sorry.
That's not something for me to go on and say sorry for.
Si sorry,
Why
basi. That's why you're single.
No, I mean, if I was seeing
No,
somebody,
we all know why he's single. Let's cut him some slack, please, okay? Please.
if I was seeing someone, I would not have conducted myself like that. But that's not something.
Ni example too.
Let's imagine.
Okay, use another example.
Let me
Tumia
tell
Mugai.
someone else's story. Let's imagine you absconded Jobo, right? And HR has called you for a session to discuss your abscondment. And
Yeah.
there's evidence.
Abscondment?
Yeah.
And there's evidence
Of your
hapo tu
abscondment.
clearly. And you know you have a meeting with HR. Don't you need this?
Yeah,
Apology
you
master?
Need, you need that.
Thousand
Unaingia hapo kaa nasema, we are so sorry from the bottom of our hearts. Hallelujah. In fact, let's get into the word.
You know what? I would actually use that app, whatever service, more for my professional life than my personal life, for real. Because sometimes dealing with clients it's tough. It's hard.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard.
Me, I think
Yeah.
I would use that professional service.
Yeah, I would.
Especially
I would use it for my professional life. Personal life, I've got that down.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because sometimes sura yangu, you know, when you have just a face that just looks like you're angry, right? So sometimes I don't look like I'm matching the words that I'm saying. So I need somebody who, you know,
It was a remorseful face.
I can look at their face and I'm like, hey,
Remorse.
this one just looks remorseful. Unaingia hapo kazi.
Yo, akishaingia you're like,
Uza Usikuje
we
na
forgive
ule
you.
usikuje na
You
ule
know what I
PA
mean?
wako na kanga tu hivi. Ati kwani tumekuja hapa nini?
He saw us.
There's amechora eyebrow imefika hapa. You're just like, could you come without eyebrows? Kesho usichore eyebrows. We're going to apologize to the client.
More intimidating without the eyebrows.
Surprise!
What do you mean?
No. You need
looking like Voldemort.
Nakuja
You want an apology from Voldemort?
Ama this time achore eyebrows reverse.
Anyway.
But speaking of Japan being ahead, there's no service you can't hire in Japan. I don't know if it was you guys I was telling, but in Japan you can hire a father figure.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a sugar daddy.
Yeah, a dad.
You can hire
For the day.
a father figure for the day or for however long you want.
And this is not at you've been suspended from school and then they're like,
No.
bring your parent, you go
Someone
and
to
bring
spend
someone
the
from
day
the
with
stage.
you, someone to tell you tell them about it. They're like, oh, I'm so proud of you, my daughter. Someone to take you to the theme park if you feel like you missed out on that experience growing up. You didn't have a father to take you to a water park or whatever. You can hire a guy for as low as like $70 dollars.
Do you know what? And that's not low. That's a lot of hiring.
that's a lot
Hata
of
Uber
money.
ni if ni
Yeah.
inafaa
I
kuwa
love-
price ya Uber.
Eh?
But here's my, it's interesting that we mentioned that. And I
Yeah.
always say, I look at Japan as a case study for what we should be preparing for, because they are just ahead in terms of technology and and development and so the challenges they are facing are because of all the development that
They're
they've
already
experienced,
so
and
many
as
steps
we're in the
ahead.
process
Yeah.
of building,
Yeah.
right? So like the way they used to say back in the day, in places in Europe, you can't even walk to someone's house and just be like, "Ati nimefika." I remember my aunties and my mom used to say that a lot. Like, Maju hawezi can just show up, right?
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
call.
Now-
you have to
now
announce.
you also
Can
can't do
someone
that.
just show up at your door? In fact, can I tell you something funny? I've never been to Joyce's house,
That's true, actually.
right? I mean, Kerry invited us that once, and that was the end
That
of the
was the
story.
end.
And
And he
there's
moved.
evidence. He
And he
made sure
moved.
there's evidence, and then he moved
he
out of the
moved.
house, so that we never know where he is. So you see, what I'm trying to say is that people don't really show their houses. You can't even show up at someone's house. Like, things have changed a lot. And so Japan iko mbele to a point now you can even hire friends, right? You can
Yeah.
hire family. And imagine seated there with a father figure so that you can be like, Dad, you remember that time you really made me feel bad? And this guy is acting. So he has to sit there and say, yeah.
I should have done better.
And
You
by
can
somebody
the
hire
time.
cute boyfriends.
is watching right now and going like, that is so weird, right? No, even cute boyfriends is there. You can hire an
Yeah, I'm
escort.
saying, you can hire them.
You even hire someone, when you're watching a sad movie, to clean your tears.
To clean your tears.
Bro, and remember that story of ours from 2023? It's now a thing.
Which
Cuddle buddy.
Eh?
Imagine.
Yeah.
We should have patented that shit.
Sasa wacha nikuambie, right?
Yani Japan is a whole Black Mirror.
Yeah,
because
100%.
you isolate and isolate. I've told you about Hikikomori, these men who never leave their rooms. Like, they were 13, they were playing video games, and they were and slowly they became more recluse to a point. There's about 1 million plus
Yeah.
Hikikomoris in Japan alone. They never leave their room.
What do you
As in kwanzia 13, mtoi sasa ako 40. Na unampatianga food from under the door. And I've told you this story before. So what I'm trying to say now,
And that's
remember,
what the metaverse is going to do to people.
remember the last episode we were talking about Makodimba, right? And how he was having daddy issues. I'm telling you, these things are needed.
Yeah.
So I see the real life implications.
No, loneliness is actually
It's a real
pandemic
thing.
now. No, it's an actual pandemic.
Actually,
Even with jails, I don't know if it's still in Japan. I feel like it's still Japan because these guys, honestly, they are living in Black Mirror. There's now jails for the elderly. Like, elderly women would rather be in a prison because there's a system, there's a community. Every other few hours, you go outside, you enjoy the sun with your peers. There's someone to feed you. There's someone to take care of you.
it's like a boarding school.
Like, yeah, it's like a boarding school, but like for the elderly, instead of putting them in a nursing home, because a lot of them, they're not, incapacitated. Like, they can walk. They are still very healthy enough to take care of themselves, but they don't want to be by themselves. So like, there's this thing about like, I'll look it up properly and make sure I'm sharing the right facts, but I don't know if it's already there or they want to have almost like a prison system. They'll commit the most ridiculous crimes just
And
so that
you're
they
not-
can be put in prison. Yeah. And then there'll be now a prison section for now the elderly alone.
Listen, kwani old age is worse than prison?
Honestly,
seems.
no, it's a sense of community that they are looking for. They'd rather commit that crime of stealing the equivalent of 100 bob, waende washikwe petty crimes, and then the other people her age who have committed petty crimes so that they can be put in a prison system so that they have a community.
To me, the loneliness of old age is scary. You know how you get to see old people or elderly people would get to a point where all your friends, the people you used to know, probably people have passed on.
Yeah.
And you're there stuck in a place where people of different generations, so you're really trying to have a conversation with somebody, and people of a younger generation will always look up at older generation people saying anyi amjui kitu, like you're
I like
outdated.
talking to older people. I feel like they have
Yeah,
so
but like how many
stories.
times do you? And the other day I was, and you can do the same research, right? I want you to take a look at, especially if you live in a city like Nairobi, kama uko Embusi, I mean, si umeka tu na wazae. Yeah, but like the city has no love for old people. Like once you reach a certain age, you gotta leave because you find like when you move around, right, you can literally count the number of people who have gray hair. Like proper. Like just I want you to look at your crowds when you're leaning, because I do this research all the time. I look at the streets, I look at the people, walking. Once in a while you'll meet a shosho. So come on, Islando, please count yourself out of this argument. You see those guys, those shoshos hapo Muturwa na nini. Those ones are bosses. Those mamas from Mudurwa,
don't mess with those
they
ones.
are millionaires.
Mafia.
They've been doing this business for a while. But like old people, like, and when I mean old, like as soon as you reach retirement age, elderly is not 60s, elderly is like 80s, right? But here, once you reach 60, unless you are Pitandegwa, by the way, or you have a good business, you have no business being in the city because everybody is younger. Like anywhere you go, you'll find people who are younger than you.
Yeah, but you see, our median age is 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you also can't blame the young people. They didn't choose to be born.
No, but
people just keep giving birth, man.
I don't know. I think the country is Denmark. So Denmark have this system, and I had this system, and I was just like, wow, I would love to. Because when we were kids, I'll never forget when I was in St. Hannah's class 4. We did a CSR project for an organization I think called Help Age Kenya, right? So it's basically for taking care. It's like a fund to take care of like old people, right? Because interesting fact, people actually abandon old people.
Oh, yeah.
Like your shosh or your parent, you just say, kwenda uko. I have my children. I have to choose between my children and them. Nini. And people say this is just a jungu thing. No, it's not. Or you grow old, maybe your whole family dies. Now you don't have anyone. Yeah. So this organization supports like homes and stuff. So I remember we did that project, and it's always been in the back of my mind, like, wow, old people get no love. And you get old and you can't even just simple things like looking at in your house, like if you are a millennial, your folks are getting older. And I'm sure you can start seeing, I've started noticing my folks getting old, and I'm like, you see photos, your mom sends you a photo, like, did you use a filter? And so now you're at that place where now you have to start really paying attention about their diet, And in a place like Japan, someone gets to like 100. So now just imagine from 60 to 100. That's 40 years. Hata mtoi wako raise that much. You understand? Yeah. So inafika two place mtoi wako na kuabandon. Because even me, I'm growing old. Yeah. By the time you're 100, I'm there 80. Yay. You get? So now I have to cease. Sasa wewe unajua, will you take care of me, or I might take care of you? You get? And
and I can't expect now my child to take care of all of us.
Exactly. So you pata like this, nini folks, there's a service for ati wakidedi. The service just comes. So you now see you're living by yourself. Now your family has need, and you are the next of kin. So next of kin has signed you up to this service. They've said, akidedi we enda tuchukue mwili, cremate, take all the things that we find in the house, liquidate, and then send me the cash.
What?
Napata mtu they're dead in the house for like 3 months. Hey, you think when we say that loneliness is a pandemic.
Yeah, it is a pandemic, actually.
Right? And it's one of those pandemics that, okay, there are countries like Bhutan that have worked on it. Like their core thing is when they build around happiness.
Right.
Right? So people have to be happy. And part of happiness is dealing with issues like loneliness. So community is key thing. Right?
Right.
Key thing for loneliness is community. Like if you're more isolated, chances that there's loneliness starting to creep in. Right?
Facts.
And there's a difference between being alone and loneliness.
Yeah.
So if your country is not focusing, if the core focus, if your country doesn't put attention, I don't know, there are countries that even have Minister of Happiness.
Are you the one who was telling us that? I feel like somebody mentioned it and I thought it was ridiculous. But
of
it
happiness.
sounds,
Because how many times are we going to talk about mental health as if it's a postcard? You know, we're talking about something. It's like slang.
Yeah.
Right? What is being done towards it? And so there are countries that are doing something about it. But then I think Kenya, let's just be honest, we will start taking mental health seriously. Never.
First of all, we have so many issues
We
we
are
need to
going
deal
to
with.
start capitalizing on it. And that's the truth,
Yeah.
right? It's either the government deals with it, right? And puts in place things, you know, like facilities, blah, 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 community, or people are going to start capitalizing on it. So it's like, oh, you're lonely. Okay, here's a boyfriend you can hire. Oh, you're lonely.
Yeah.
Here's a girlfriend you can take to the office party so that people think you have a girlfriend. And I know those things are happening here in Kenya.
Yeah.
Oh my
They're already
goodness.
happening. Why? Why not?
Mm.
People are lonely.
That's true.
Right? Now, speaking of loneliness, there's a series called Adolescence, and I kind of spoke about it on
haven't watched
radio.
it yet. Don't spoil it for me.
So there's a concept there about incel, and I'm talking about loneliness.
Yeah.
So they're talking about a statistic where I don't talk about the exact numbers, but basically a majority of women will only be attracted to a small fraction of men in the world. So a large fraction of men will never get anybody who'll be attracted to them ever.
That
Right?
statistic was scary.
Yeah, it's
so
wild.
sad.
And that's where, so this stat, incels are pushing this narrative to them to themselves and telling each other, then what we have to do is we have to take what's ours. Because if we're not going to get it, we're going to take it by force. And that's why you're seeing a rise in violence against women.
How about they just create their own communities like women have all these decades?
You see?
Yeah, but
still,
there are no women.
Even if I create a community, women are choosing bears.
Yeah.
Women are saying,
It's true. But you see why we are choosing bears? What the hell?
but you see, is a man supposed to stay? A man who, when he gets money, the first thing he thinks about is, I need someone to spend it on.
Yeah.
Right? And he never gets ever. So he has to either purchase it, right? He has to give his money. And that's why the rise of people like Akina Tate, where young boys are seeing themselves in Tate. And you see it like on Twitter, you see a lot of young guys who are relating to this kind of messaging, and their enemy is the babe. And, you know, work hard, get that money so that you can afford. Because now
This
it's all about
babe.
purchasing these babes.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what I mean, like, not why, but I feel like the beginning for, I guess, men's healing or whatever it is you guys want to call
These
it.
kind of guys.
Yeah, these kind of guys, they need to create like their own healthy communities. Because one thing I've learned is women are very good at creating their own communities. Even statistically, widows have been outliving widowers for years. And it's because of one simple thing: community.
Yeah.
There's never a single time where a woman will be, unless now we're talking about like the elderly, they'll never be lonely. There's always a girlfriend. If kawe ni mtu wa church, uko na watu wa Bible study. Kawe ni mtu wa hiking, as a girl, you have your hiking friends, you have your party friends. Your cup is always filled by everyone else who is a woman, and then a man now just comes and adds an extra cup. But you see, for men, it's the opposite. If there's no woman in his life is empty.
There's no cups.
There's nothing. So I feel like that would be the beginning for a lot of men to heal. Create your own communities where you don't have to go looking outwards to make yourselves happy.
Healthy community.
Yeah, healthy communities.
And you see,
But you know, it's easier saying it.
Yeah,
and,
it's easier said than done for sure.
It's easier saying it because I feel like it's quite difficult to get to find something that someone who's never had any sort of babe approach them, or them hit on a babe, or flirt with a babe and then they kubali their advances, it's quite easy saying that, oh, go create a community and you'll go on and forget that.
No, not forget.
Yeah.
Just find fulfillment elsewhere apart from like a woman. A woman can't be your end all, be
But
all
if
definition of success and handsomeness and ego, and go and fill those cups somewhere else.
if that is a fulfillment that you're seeing other people getting and you're not getting it, it's really hard saying go on and find something else.
That's what I mean. It's going to take time to change all of those things because it's not just one thing. Society has also played a very big part in it. You know, we can't expect you to do things that you didn't see happening. As we saw our mothers be in mothers' guilds and have those kind of things. So as women, it's very easy for us to create those kind of communities. You guys weren't really taught that. Again, it's not your fault, but it is up to you to correct it. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You need to start changing how things have been done.
I think I also
it's
want
true.
to add.
Like you could say it is possible because I think a while back there were like two different kinds of boys clubs trending over different reasons. One was for babes. The other one was for guys bettering themselves with their networks and everything. So it is possible, but then again, most of the time, as sad as it is, but it's a fact. It's something that's happening. Most of the time, men would be in a clique or be together to do something. It's always around, getting more babes. Or getting more money to get more babes.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
So you guys need to
babes
change that narrative.
I just
Work
want to
towards
add.
changing that narrative.
I want to add. Joyce has spoken about community, and I think the core thing here is healthy communities. Because remember, this incel is a community, right? Akina Tate and the Red Pill Nation is a community, right? So I think healthy communities. And then number two, this particular issue, I feel like men have been community has played a huge part in cornering men into a very difficult
into a box.
space, right?
Yeah, you're either this or you're not a man.
No, hold on. Think about it. For example, how many times do we say, can a guy date broke? What do we say as a society?
You can't.
Right? Why?
Because you need to make your money fast to get the babe.
Exactly. So already, in a world where a lot of people do not have the money, that chomoas a lot of guys from the playing field. You're not a contestant, right? So maybe other things have to work for you. It's not only money that works for men. There are other men who have charisma, which now has to be an exceptional kind of charisma, right? You know that guy who just gets along with babes, nini. That guy never has any chums, but for some strange reason,
he gets
the babes, right? So that is something that not every person is born with charisma. So you lose out on that. Or maybe you just have a natural, powerful, beautiful physique. That babes, hata kama hauna pesa, and you see these guys usually have like great physique. Hakuna kitu kwa mfuko. Lakini, even the babe will finance the things for you, right? And so many other things. Maybe you're a nice guy. Whatever, right? And you have to have another quality for women to want you, right? Before, the qualities would play a big role. But now, money has superseded all that, right? So if Elon Musk walks into the room, I want to ask you, man, right? Elon Musk says to your babe, yo, I think you're beautiful. Let's go out on a date. Do you think she'll go out on a date with Elon Musk? Do you think she'll come to you and say, babe, akisuno ni Elon Musk, wacha tu niende date? Right? What I'm trying to show is that then that creates a hierarchy of how men can access women. And so if it's like a pyramid scheme, then majority of them will not be able to access. Now, women, on the other hand, have been commoditized, right? So you find that, yes, there are those babes, right, who are so fine to a point they don't even get guys. Nobody approaches them.
For real.
Right? It's a thing. Right? And then there are those ones who you're seeing there's a criteria of babes that gets, like there's so many, it's like steeplechase. Oh, you have to be like wife material. Or you have to have hips. Or you have to be light. Or you have to be this, right? But these are all superficial things that maybe I can be able to alter, right? But at the end of the day, what I have is a commodity that this other side wants. And worse still, the guys at the top who can be able to access babes are the ones who are commoditizing it. For them, they can pay. They can pay for it. First date, they can peleka a babe to Monaco for lunch. How many men can be able to take babes to Diani. And then you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it makes the playing field very, and that's just community. It's just
Yeah.
a system that we have. And so what ends up happening?
And we keep feeding into it.
We
That's
feed
the
into
problem.
it. And not all of us are benefiting.
Yeah.
How many relationships watu wamepanda ndege? How many? Let's be honest. But if you look at social media,
It look
Yeah.
like it's all
It's
of
a
them.
standard,
It looks like it just happened.
part of dating is
It's
lazima
not.
kupeleke
Yeah.
You have to be
Diani,
flued
Yeah.
out.
right? Or
Yeah.
he has to take you on vacation.
Yeah.
If you're in a
That's not the
relationship and you
reality.
never go on a vacation, does that
Yeah.
mean that person, that relationship is
Doesn't
not
love
strong?
you. No.
But what is community and society pushing? So at the end of the day, we are these things that you're seeing like incels and whatnot. This is the result of creating a really messed up system.
Yeah.
And now what's so scary is to see a 13-year-old boy
Thinking
killing
like that,
a 13-year-old
man.
girl
Imagine.
because of this.
Imagine. It's
They haven't
crazy.
even started
It's
earning
scary.
money.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, okay, at this rate, and how many murders happen? In the UK, they were saying every 2 days there's a woman who's killed by her husband. Right? And that's a great statistic. That's a great statistic for the world. Because
Jesus.
in other places, it's like every day
It's
4
worse.
women are killed.
Yeah.
You understand? So we are living in a world. And if you ask, and this spike has happened all across the world. And if you look, what's one thing that's happening? The men are becoming very, they're disempowered. Like now a man cannot be able to
Resentful.
provide like the way he's seeing mask. Like when you
Yeah.
think of provision, like do you just think of just a roof over her head and school fees? So are you thinking, I want to take her, I want to do for her, I want to...
Yeah, it's you think of bettering the person's life, with what they envision or see themselves, where they see themselves in like 10, 15 years down the line. You want to even exceed that level of expectation. That's a discussion you have like when the relationship is new, like what's your dream house?
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself? What do you want to achieve? Where do
Yeah.
you want to be? So what I'd see for being a provider is being able to exceed those expectations for the person that I'm with. So
if you're not able to do those things, will you feel like you failed?
the way society is pegged, yes, you do feel like a failure.
Okay.
You feel like you can't be seen as a man, And even sometimes that's even what leads to people breaking up, where now you see the baby is earning more money than the babe starts earning more money than the guy, and then now outside
becomes
people
a
see,
problem,
Yani, you're getting this lifestyle because your woman is rich. Yeah, so you are a husband who is being kept.
Yeah.
Like it now becomes where like the narrative now immediately flips and changes, and this guy is being seen as being less of a man. And it's quite sad because as much as you try and change that narrative and how society thinks, it always ends up looking like it's an argument, men versus women.
Yeah.
Where now you're women are being accused of, you only want money, you only date people who want money, and then guys are being accused of, you're playing babes because you've got cash. So now it's such a hard narrative to go on and change.
And you see why I've said we are all just victims of what an unfair system looks like. Me, the truth is, these super wealthy people and how unfair it is that just rich people just keep getting richer.
Yeah.
And if you ask, to be honest, most people in the world don't want to be ultra rich. You don't want to be
Just
ultra
want to be
wealthy.
comfortable,
You just
man.
want to be able to
Yeah.
have. Mimi ningekuwa na good healthcare, which is
Man.
catered for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. Niko
Nice
na,
house.
I can have kids. Ati the government has paid for it. These countries that gives you at every child you have, they give you 250 to start.
Imagine,
Your
hadi
life,
unalipiwa hadi university.
they've given you free healthcare, free. I mean, I
Is that
think
Finland
I
or
wouldn't
what?
even. I don't even think I would be as aggressive or aggressive with my dreams as I am right now, because some things you do, you're not even. It's not even you want to do them, but you're just like,
I have to do
I
them.
have to, man.
Yeah.
As in, when my friends would be settling huko sijui at least you kuja visit, we are just here in our backyards. Me, I have ngoja niwashe gari hapa Jogoo Road, them they are in Runda, right, just backyards pamoja huko, and I'm feeling, or maybe they were in Nanyuki, we've taken over. I just like, umeona Mount Kenya, niko nyuma yake, niko leeward side,
left side,
no, but society has created these people. Do you think Elon Musk ever has a problem of getting a babe?
I
think he does.
Ronaldo?
I think
absolutely not. Of getting, come on, please.
Maybe not love. And that's what I told you.
Yeah.
And that's what I told you about that psychologist whose job is
getting babes, yes. Hooking up. That's what we mean.
And that's what it is.
Fair fast.
But actually, and okay, do you think Elon Musk has a problem getting a babe to stick with him?
No, he has money.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you see what I'm saying?
But he's got like so many baby mamas.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a problem. And that's what a lot of men see themselves as. So you just imagine, you've never even had one babe who's kubalid that, let me lead you, let me guide you, let me provide for you. I have 5 bob. Let this 5 bob be what can make you happy, right? He has never been able to experience that.
Yeah.
And then he's seeing Jonte, who, because of his Prado, because of his house, because of the things he has, this guy is on his 6th babe this year. We're in March. Right? And we've just spoken about how, for men, having that person to provide for, having a mate is so important. So eventually, what do you think in a big bowl, let's put all men and women in that society, only a fraction of them are getting women.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening in that mix? Nothing nice. And then what message do you think we're pushing to boys? A small boy right now, 13, right? What does he think of women?
It's that message of,
he thinks we're products.
This is the one that's there.
Saying.
Get your money and then you'll go on and get the babe, because that's how it's been done.
Yeah, it's the narratives we keep pushing out there, because not to say that people who don't have money don't fall in love. The other day, I remember, just like I was driving into, which mall was it? Junction Mall, and there's a stage right there next. And there was this really young couple at the bus stop, and they were so happy. They were waiting for a matatu.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time you were that happy? They don't have money.
Yeah.
But they were so happy.
Yeah.
Some guy is going to a bed sitter to visit his girlfriend, and he's so happy that he's been able to buy chicken and ugali.
Yeah.
And those people are so fucking in love. It's not that these things don't happen.
Yeah.
It's just those are not the narratives that are being
pushed.
put out there. You're
Yeah.
feeding the negative narratives. And that's what I'm saying. It's up to us, all of us. Because there's this thing I saw, Chris Rock is the one who actually said it. And it actually made me very sad. Like, I know I'm always like, making fun of men, whatever. But this really made me empathize with them. He said, women, children, and dogs are the only people who are loved unconditionally. Men are not loved unconditionally, ever. You have to show up with this, you have to look like this, you have to do that, and these are narratives that are being pushed out, and we keep feeding into them. Because like you said, you go to social media, you see every girl being flown out by her boyfriend. Even the first time I was flown out by a boyfriend, it was like a few years ago. Mi sikuwa najua hii maisha ni nini. So if I was to look at a social media couple and be like, oh, my boyfriend is not doing this for me, or he's not doing this for me, then he doesn't love me, he's not a good man, he's not a this.
But I
keep thinking back to that young couple that I saw at a bus stop waiting for a matatu. You're like, you want to tell me these things are not happening? They're happening. Yeah. But we don't want to push those stories. We want to push these other ones.
And that's the truth. And that's why people always, when you talk about love or you talk about relationships, like, nowadays relationships are not working out. Oh, nowadays people are not honest. Nairobi, hawezi pata ule na kupea.
That you're being pushed for. What about these other ones?
Yeah.
But it has a nice ring to it though. Like that's a narrative, and people go on and accept it. Like you walk into a club and then Cardi B song plays, broke boys don't deserve no coochie. Everybody's like, I know that's right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and those things eventually, because I noticed that, you see, the music that I was listening to when I was growing up, the hip hop and whatnot, the R&B, it shaped who I became.
I swear.
The way I speak, the way I thought about relationships, the way I thought about, I promise you, like it took me when I was doing a bit of self-assessment a few years ago, and I was like, where do I get this kind of thinking, right? And then I started to see what I was ingesting, and I realized, especially 2000s, 90s hip hop and R&B, those narratives, what's love got to do with it, and others, which, to be honest, I did not. Those were not my words. They were just songs I was singing, but they ended up becoming my reality, right? And so when, before I got out of that thinking, even the way I'd approach relationships was very messed up.
Oh yeah.
You get, because this is ours. This is
Ebu will start looking for babes who listen to Amapiano. Because now there you don't know what they're saying. Yeah, there's nothing being
there's nothing
instilled
being
in your
instilled in
mind.
your head. But then,
Fresh.
But then,
Wewe
serious.
unajua tu.
if you
Lyrics
mention
are a serious
Yeah,
thing.
for real.
Let me give you an example. If someone wants to argue about the power of music, right? When you listen to gospel music, let's do a test. Listen to gospel music for a whole week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't listen to any other music. Okay, as it will be difficult. But somebody do a test and tell us what the difference is. If especially come when you say you listen to urban tone, you listen to hip hop, you listen to now, or it doesn't need to be gospel. Listen to classical music.
Yeah.
Music with no lyrics. Right? Let's see whether you evolve.
True.
Right? It's a different feeling. Like when I listen to lo-fi, right? Or I listen to Sijui Afrobeats. If I listen to Afrobeats, it better be Wizkid, it better be mellow, right?
You know what I mean?
Very mellow. Are you gonna dance? Hey,
Don't
relax. Let's just keep it here. Kese.
Hapa chini.
Don't rush me.
Hapa
Don't
chini,
rush me.
msinipeleke
Yeah.
haraka.
MHZ lazima ikuwe hapa.
Very low.
Hats.
Very low.
Lo-fi, immediately I play the sound, I feel like my body is just floating.
Yeah.
So music alters you. It does. So much so that even scientists have done research on music and even affecting plants, right?
True. Yeah,
and others. So it's a thing.
Yeah,
and
but
me,
you know
hip hop
what?
was altered in me.
Now that you mention it, then I love my throwback R&Bs. I will say for I miss you guys for singing in the desert and the rain. Makes sense why I like Lover Boys. Yeah, I want someone who will
Heartbreak songs.
will be like, I miss you, let me go out into the desert and sing. You know? I mean, those are the guys me I like. I don't like hard niggas.
In the words of a
stress.
broken heart, it's just emotion.
Exactly. Me, I want to go sing in the rain, bro. You miss me, go sing.
But there's a book I was listening to this morning. I've been listening to it for a while. It's called Master Key Society, and they were talking about, basically in Master Key, they're talking about some things on how Master Key, basically there are things you can be able to tap into in this world to be able to increase your
vibrations.
abundance, right? So, for example, like you know how Jesus says, "Ask."
And you shall receive.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
I went to church enough times and nobody ever told me, girl, manifest like this. Right? The pastor was just like, and you're just like, bro,
why shouting?
So niseme tu nataka ice cream.
And it's not there.
Ice cream yangu haijakuja in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So in Masaki, he's basically today. There was a part where I was listening, and he was talking about how, and I never really thought about it. So weird. It's just like full circle. So he says, the author, that when you're consuming something, this book is like from 1800, right? So at that point there were no TV, radio, blah blah blah. So he was talking about when you're reading something, when you start to feel something, like maybe you're reading a sad story and you start to feel sad, you gotta stop reading. It's changing you. That feeling you're feeling is that this thing that you're consuming is altering you. So you shouldn't give anything power like that. Now, when I stopped there and I asked myself, when you watch a TV show, do you know how many things you've watched, or music that you've listened to, or stories that you've had, or true crime? You know why we love true crime so much? Because it alters something in you, right? And so I started thinking, and I was like, oh my God, our pastors were onto something. All those years that you're listening to hip hop music, first off, fuck your bitch, when you click, you click. And you claim to be a player, and some people were doing all sorts of crazy things. You didn't know that your role model influences were actually being imprinted in your mind, and you're sagging because Tupac was sagging. Anyway, so that was a very interesting take on that. Now, finally, hey guys, God, we gotta end on a wild note.
High, yes,
wild note. So there's a man who now. First, I have to ask you a question. Let's imagine you've started dating somebody, right? You've met this person and things are going so well. You guys, that person who you meet, and then 2 weeks later, you find out for the past 2 weeks since you guys met, hamjawachana. Like, it's that hot. You remember? You remember those kind of relationships?
I remember.
Yeah. Zinanza even with you meet and now...
Inseparable.
From that day, you guys are inseparable, right? Right. Then...
Where is this combo?
They fall into a coma. Right? They fall into a coma. Are you sticking around?
Depends
What?
how long.
Coma, you never know. The
Alright,
doctors
how
are
long
like,
are
we
you
don't
willing-
know. We
how
just
long are you
wait for
willing-
them to wake up.
How long
No,
are
I'm
you willing
saying
to
it
stick
depends
around?
how long we've been together. You know, if we've been together for like 3 months, I'll give it like 6 months. You know, double the time before I decide if I'm moving on or not. What if they never wake up?
What if they wake up right after you break up?
Then
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Karen?
I'll send that guy for apologizing.
Guy.
Take me back.
Hey, this is when you go and look
She
for
says,
DiCaprio.
please forgive her. Shetani alimungia kwa kichwa. Oh, by the way, welcome back. Welcome back.
Wow.
Balloons, confetti. Pa!
That's tough, man.
They're so crazy.
That's tough. Hey, you don't even know what to do because, you
Are
know,
you sticking around? Just be honest.
I was very honest.
hey,
Hey, what?
I feel like I want to, but then again, I want to because when they're in a coma, you know,
Coma your relationship.
like literally, that's what it is. Like it's like the brain pauses.
Yeah.
You know, yes, they are dreaming and doing things.
Apparently
but
they can
if-
still hear you,
yeah,
but
if
like
they wake
you
up,
know.
if they wake up and they can remember, they will.
Is that what
people
you're
ask,
you're
what
counting
year
on?
is it? So to them, it can continue from where it was.
Yeah.
But now
You've moved on.
yeah, well, like your
has
life goes
lived.
on.
You know, there's
and
this song-
finally finish Inception. I understand dream walking, so I can go into this babe's dream. Tuishi huko.
Will you stick around? How long will you stick around for? Will you wait till they wake up?
How long would you stick around
it depends.
for?
If I really love this babe, I think I'll wait.
I think if I love you, I'll stay.
Yeah, like if it's genuine
Like I'm going to stick it out.
Okay.
and there was nothing.
Forever and ever. Whether it's 10 years down the line.
Yeah, but then at some point I'll have to talk to the doctor. See to make it to
Yeah, there was nothing in the relationship.
Ama?
No, it's one of those. It's those comas of CRT, life support or
Yeah,
anything.
Is this umelala too?
Neo, the doctors are like, we don't know. We just have to wait for
Yeah,
them
just
to
wake up.
Unaenda hapo kila siku we.
You know what?
Ati we, kwani sasa utamelala wewe amka bro.
Hey, unakuja hapo unapiga slap. Pa! Papa!
Apparently they can
Hey,
still
kumbe ni
get
koma ya ukweli.
Ama ki sleeping beauty, lakini hiyo sleeping beauty hiyo ni
Na
wewe
mkiss.
dema ku consent.
Lakini hiyo ni
Lakini
weird. Hiyo ni weird.
you know,
Hiyo ni
apparently they
weird.
can
It's
still get
weird.
like
random
erections and
babes
stuff.
sleeping in the
Men
forest.
can
Would you,
get
would you,
erections
no,
in
I want to
coma.
ask if you'd hook
For
up
real?
them. Would you hook up with them for them?
In a coma.
Do you want them to have blue balls in the coma?
In a coma.
In a coma, Mazi.
Bro,
When the
I don't
erection
care
comes.
if they
There is the
become
erection.
black and blue, my guy. I'm not having sex with them.
No, but like you're doing
Comatose
But si ni
person.
wako.
them. It's not for you, for them.
For them, how? Ndio
For the
sitarudi tu chini peke yake.
Hapana, lazima hiyo nini hitoke.
Kama
Acha ikuwe
imenini.
black and blue, it's okay.
Anyway, so
You know how morning wood works, yeah? Like, okay, now I'm digressing.
yeah, you're digressing.
Exactly, it's okay. Let's
Like,
leave it
anyway,
there, guys.
Akiamka kwa koma ina lasting long.
No, here's the thing you need to do, right? This is what you need to do. If you want to leave that relationship, right? Pick a fight with the family.
What?
Start saying, this is my body. Yeah, you guys, I don't trust
is
you.
my
You're
mouth.
trying to
Get out of
rob
here.
them. You know, yeah.
And then you'll be banned
They
from them.
will ban you from that body.
And you'll be free.
And you'll be free.
That is genius.
I've thought about this.
Solution.
Actually,
Umwandikie tu barua
Deep
akiamka atasoma.
Hey,
Ajue ulienda.
hey, na sai kama ameforget sasa umemkumbusha. Ulikuwa kwa relationship. Got a foolproof, bro.
Hey, imagine
Akili.
ubaki hapo ati you want to stay and then they wake up, they're like, wait, who are you?
That's what I'm saying. This is foolproof. If they wake up and they come to you,
The
say, babe,
farmer.
I wanted your far more, right? But if they've forgotten, good. Safe.
Clear.
Yeah. But hey, you know, these are things you gotta think about, you know, especially like if you're doing like one night stands, you know, and all these things. Like no, not one night stands, situationships.
No.
Like let's imagine you're in a situationship.
Guys,
and then
I found a new name for a situationship, and whoever came up with this on the internet, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to steal it.
what is it?
Insignificant other.
Okay. So your
gonna start
insignificant
using it.
other, right?
I like it.
Let's imagine you've just chomoked from smashing with your insignificant other. Then on your way home, you guys get into an accident. Your insignificant other becomes a paraplegic. How long are you sticking around for?
As soon as I'm sure they're okay and out of ICU, I hand them over to the family.
Hi.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
mean,
saying, guys?
Siko ubaya, but you are not there for.
You get me?
Hey.
We've been smashing for 2 weeks and then now I'm supposed to take care of you.
This is a sitch. This is probably someone you've been going on and off with for like 2 years.
Why are you in a situationship for 2 years?
Things happen.
No,
like
it's,
you guys are
it's
just
happened.
you guys are just
Stop
good.
questioning.
That's what
happened.
that's where you
Pick
guys
up
are
with-
good. That's
it's
where
an
you guys
accident.
are good.
Yeah.
No.
You've never had that nini ati girlfriends are temporary, but besties are forever.
Bestie.
Mm.
Anyway, so now that we've created a good preamble and I've realized you guys actually, the kuni is being put, preparing for you guys, right? There's a husband. There's a husband. Yes, a husband, right? So the wife gets into a coma, right? No, the wife gets sick, terminal illness. And so now, of course, the doc is like, now you just have a few days to go. There's nothing else you can do. So that's what's happening. So the wife, of course, now comes to that realization, like, if the doc tells you there's nothing, there's nothing to do. Now all of a sudden you start thinking about like life, how you lived it, who you need to apologize to, who you need closure from, right? Do you think that's what you'll be doing, Anna? And the doc has told you now there's nothing we can do. You're going.
Honestly, what else what
What
is
would
there
you be
to
doing?
do?
You'd be calling your famo.
No, I'd probably have to like sit with myself first, make peace with the
Bro,
fact
wait,
that
you're
I'm
going.
leaving.
Wait,
You're
You're
going.
about to
You'll
go.
be alone.
Yeah, definitely get my ducks in a row, answer kupatiana shamba, nini. Make sure, Famo is taken care of. Start having those
Those
hard
are the things. You're lying on your bed
conversations.
at wewe. Sasa
For real.
make sure nani amekula.
Mimi utanijudge.
Hey, Mimi, I'll spend that time crying.
For real.
I mean, I'll be crying the whole time.
Doctor, you gotta do something. I don't
I'll
wanna
be crying the
die.
whole time, but considering how I've dealt with
Mimi
with grief in the
utanijudge.
past, I don't know how to just sit with it. I have to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so this babe.
Please niulize
What you
mnijudge.
what do
Oh,
you
okay. What would you do?
Mutanijudge.
So judge.
We always judge you.
Yeah, kids don't do drugs, but I'll do drugs.
Yeah, do all the worst things. Yeah. Which one did you start with?
Crack?
Not meth.
No, as in meth.
They're
Meth,
not giving us meth in the medicine.
meth
No,
is
but like,
posh.
This is a
you know,
pharmaceuticals.
crack.
No, I hear meth is like. Wait, there's the other one.
Yeah,
It's crack.
There's
You're thinking
another
about crack. The one with the
no.
pipe.
No, those are old school drugs. Guys.
Meth nita-
Come
nit-
to 2025 and
meth
tell you about
nitaweka na
drugs.
nini, nitaiweka pamoja na heroin. I think I'll try everything.
Sasa utajidedisha kabla udedi.
Walai.
Either way, si
We will
una
find
dedi.
that hiyo ndio time
Then the doctor
utasurvive.
says, "Hiya,
You are
you
cured.
were using the wrong scans."
I was watching Trevor Noah's. That's where
Yo.
I got crack from. I was watching Trevor Noah's podcast and he was like, guys, for hospice, see, they're there knowing they're about to die.
Yeah.
I was like, they should at least be allowed to try crack at least once.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the guy who was
Yeah.
on the podcast, they're like, why did you go straight for crack? You could start with heroin, meth. He was like, that's already in the medicine
Do you
that
think-
you take.
Do you
You
think
do crack, man. Go straight for
That- I
it.
think
if you were, let's
You're
imagine.
dying anyway.
Let's imagine you're a dad.
nishanga hii kitu unafanya mtu you want to
Opioids wanatuwekea kwa
Let's
madawa. Hiyo
imagine
tuko sawa, eka
you're a
crack.
dad, right? You've got teenage kids, right? They've said you are going. You're still doing the crack.
When you have when my teenage kids will
I'm
be there in
still
the room
dying.
with me.
Yeah, they don't know.
They won't know.
They
Okay.
just know you were sick
They
in the
won't
hospital
know.
for a while, and then the doctor said we need
Yeah,
to
I'm
start
with you. I'll try
praying.
crack.
And then the
Mungai.
next morning, dad is not there.
Mungai.
Hiyo usiku ndio niliwe.
Run the tape and show them what people on meth and crack look like.
Before you look
Already
like that, before you
dying.
look like that,
It's not
There's
about-
a high
kuna hiyo
born,
highness.
especially considering it's your first time.
Mm.
Like guys,
Tolerance iko chini.
Hii ni moja tu
Ah.
utapata.
For
Moja.
death.
angalia hawa watu hivi ndio utakuwa umeana.
Anguka nayo.
On the
You're-
edge of the
Yeah.
hospital bed.
You're ati daddy.
Yeah.
Umeglitch.
Uko tu hapa
Umeglitch.
ati we were going to the
You're dying anyway.
So anyway, the reason I'm asking that, and I'm glad you guys
Wow,
have talked
don't do
about the drugs, right? So now let me tell you what this guy did. So see, the wife is terminally ill,
Mm.
She's lying there on the bed and she's thinking about her life, and which you're allowed to. And let's just be honest, when that time you'll be asking for your crack, do you think me as the wife, I'll be like, Baba Timothy?
This is Timothy
Why was
come
it a
from?
Kikuyu accent? What's the word? Why was it a Kikuyu accent?
The mom is always a
What is
Kuyo.
it?
The mom in my head is always a Kuyo. Baba Timothy. Crack. Cocaine. But
Heroin.
first the pastor is in the room. In the hospital.
Yeah,
Right?
come
I'm
pray for
like,
him.
Baba Timothy has lost his mind. I think death is so
The
jarring.
devil
Right?
is right there
You're
with
there
him.
just trying to leave my crack alone. The wife is just like, Pastor, holy water. Do you think your wife would go back and share you?
If they love me, they better, my guy.
No,
Yo,
what?
It's my life, my
Okay.
guy.
Here's my question. So you've said it's your life.
Yeah.
Sawa. All right. So this husband, of course, is in that space. The wife has told him it's my life, right? He has to respect her wishes. She's like, yo, me, I want one night with my ex. To do
Yeah.
What
closure.
and why?
I'm dying.
Why
It's
did-
my life.
Why
What
did
you
you?
say?
Why didn't you get
It's my-
closure before we got
hey,
married?
Hey. Crack that will hurt my body.
Why didn't
You
you get
okay with that?
closure?
Lazima ikuwe night.
Unataka
Kuja
kujua-
daytime.
Why
Haezi
didn't you
kuja
get
mchana.
closure before we got married?
Because, listen, I'm dying. Right?
Okay, then meet during the day and I need to be there outside the door.
Yo, listen,
Lakini uone
I'm
at least
dying.
at least
Okay,
I
amengoja.
want to do first. Listen, I'm dying. I could divorce your ass right now because I'm dying. Okay,
Go for it,
thanks.
At least till death do us part. Amengoja up until the last
Yeah,
bit.
you know
He's
what I'm
been
saying?
faithful
I've been-
since.
thank you.
Paka hiyo
Okay, why
time.
does it have to? Kwani ni sleepover? Does it have to be a sleepover?
Mbona
Yeah, it doesn't
unataka
have to be at
kukatia
night.
time?
Does it have to be a sleepover? Why can't it be breakfast?
One more day.
Why can't it be breakfast and there's
One
a
more
window?
night.
Like, you see, like the interrogation room for cops, where you can silence what you guys are saying, but I can see you. Fine.
That's two-way mirror.
That's okay.
You're so crazy.
Yeah,
you know why
yeah.
it is? You know why it is like this, babes? Okay, guys, honestly, like when you're sick, when does it hurt the most?
Always.
At night.
No,
right?
it doesn't.
Oh
Mungu am I
yeah.
lying?
Oh yeah.
At night is
Oh, yeah,
when
it's at night.
the disease
Yeah,
nini
that's when
sana,
the
si ndio?
sickness is bad.
Yeah, so at night I'm up, I'm in pain, but during the day I can see. So since I'm up, that's the time I want to. At least during the day I'm sleeping, so I want to see him at night.
Can we still do it through the two-way mirror then?
You first. You know, even these words I've used, they've half my life circle, which I'm about to die. Wait, you'd say no. You'd say no.
You're
Yes.
about to die?
No.
I'd say yes.
What?
Yeah.
Kenny,
I'd say
like
no.
I've had all the guys. It's okay. I've had you guys. Mandens. I've had
For
you.
real.
Imagine he said yes.
No.
So you're about to kufa.
But then let me tell you, that was a test. You're divorced. In fact, I'm not even
Immediately.
dying.
Alikuwa na mtest kweli.
Actually, I'm not even dying. Unatama you.
Doctor, cameras. Cut. I knew you were a cheating bastard.
What do you mean?
Over.
Oh, so since the guy Kubali he's
It
cheating,
was a test and you failed.
you are
Yeah.
here suffering.
You let me hook up with my ex.
Si, unajua ukikufa pia mimi
Umeniona,
nitakuwa
lakini-
single. Itakuwa at least umenipatia leeway from siku ya funeral.
Smart
Morning
guy.
widower.
Unakuja kufuneral yake na dem.
Sikuji na dem. Najua tayari mababes watakuwa hapo hivyo wakisema oh
Wewe ndio
widower.
utekewe hizo kuni extra
Ujaisikia
hizo
there's
unasema
something about
tutekewa.
widows and widowers that they're usually attractive.
Eh?
Yeah.
Just ako
real.
solo.
Ati what?
You're single again.
Widows and widowers.
They're only attractive to widows and widowers.
No.
Kwanza, do you know, like apparently
Hapana.
ati widows and widowers go to funerals just to to comfort the one that has been left.
Yeah.
Guys, this way we need to end this episode because I
Guys.
don't like where these people are going with this.
You have not
because-
thought about it? Think
Guys.
about it. Think about it.
Guys.
Right?
Wakikwambia don't worry. I tell you how
Baba
you
Nani,
know I'd
it's
walk you
okay.
through it.
It's okay.
Guys,
Eh,
I don't
Listen.
want any part of this.
People lose their lives.
yeah.
Even me, when I went through my grief, it's okay.
In
Come.
case of anything,
Just come to my house
Yeah.
anytime, morning, night,
me, I cook.
and day.
I can bring you food.
We have to support Baba Nani
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
guys. And
I'll
they,
be checking up on
yeah.
him.
Is there anything you'd like to eat?
Guy, inakuanga hivyo.
Inakuanga hivyo mazi.